I've been hearing about the idea of like directed energy weapons forever, and then all of a sudden they're there. Like, is this we just made it through after 20 years, or and all this kind of stuff, or is it like actual technological shifts have happened?
I say this as a failed physicist, right? So this stuff kind of like is probably a little bit, past me. But I think with a lot of things, like you're seeing with directed energy, like certainly with autonomy, you have this kind of like nexus of, hey, there's real hard problems to solve in power storage and power generation. There's hard problems to solve in optics. There's hard problems to solve in sensing and lidar and this. And as you kind of stack these 10% gains in each one of these things, when you kind of combine it, you see this kind of 100x multiple on like the combined platform, right? Like, I'm going to put myself way out over my skis if I talk more about lidar or things like that. But I think, when you look at like, say, autonomy, you see a combination of like, could we do this without cheap manufacturing and 3D printing? Probably not. Could we do this without good kind of sensing, new sensors, better sensors? Probably not. Can we do this without ways of navigating that aren't necessarily GPS tied? Probably not. So you see all these kind of like incremental improvements, they converge on what you're talking about, like this whole new capability, this whole new technology. And it's pretty cool.
AI, one of these things you just kind of said, like, was going along the same, or does it become an enabling technology that none of this was possible, or is it, an accelerant, or yes to all?
Yeah, I think it's both. Exactly. And I think what you see with AI is it's an enabler for all these other things, right? Human beings are incredibly capable, but we don't scale. And when you're talking about whether it's defense, whether it's air defense, whether it's all this other stuff, AI is an enabling technology that enables the scale that manufacturing, that autonomy, and all those other things provide to be relevant. But it's also a technology in its own right. You know, we're seeing this in our personal lives now, where I think everybody got on Chat GPT. Many people are like starting to use things like that in its daily life. But we're seeing this hockey stick step now, where kind of in the personal analogy, we're going from just talking to Chat GPT to being able to give it our credit card and ask it to do stuff on our behalf. That's such a step function, both in terms of like what it can do for a person, as well as also to be very direct, like a step function in the level of trust and assurance that you need. I'm happy to talk to ChatGPT all day long, but at the point where I'm giving it my credit card and asking it to book flights for me, I start to have a lot more questions about making sure it actually does what it's supposed to.